For those who don't know me, my name is Harold Campbell. I was born in Ballyhalbert, the fourth child of a family of 9, 7 boys and 2 girls. In the early 50s, we moved to a new house in the Scrabby Estate in Newtonards. Like our family, the Scrabby Estate in the 50s and 60s had quite a few larger families. We were an ordinary working class family. Dad left home early in the morning for work, and Mum worked hard as a housewife, getting us all ready and out to school in the mornings. Looking back over our childhood years, we were a very happy family. Mum and Dad joined Regent Street Presbyterian Church. As kids, we were sent to Sunday school, and for a short while my brother and I also joined the Cubs. I attended the Model Primary School and then went on to Scrubba Secondary School. About a year before I left school, I got a part-time job delivering milk early in the mornings. The owner's son and his wife were both Christians. Occasionally they would take me with them to church, but I think it was just for politeness on my part that I tagged along. On leaving school, I got a job as an apprentice butcher, working for another Christian couple. They talked to me a few times about Jesus, dropping hints in a subtle way. Again, I probably just smiled and ignored it. I had a group of friends and we were all involved in the cycling club in Newtonards. We went out training together, just enjoying life as typical teenagers. I was still serving as an apprentice butcher when I got this notion that I wanted to immigrate to Australia. I started to gather information, knowing that it would be a few years down the line, as I had to finish my apprenticeship. Mum and Dad knew my feelings on going away, but they didn't say very much about it. Maybe they thought I would change my mind. But that day did arrive. I had finished my 5 years apprenticeship, had all my documents, and jumped on a plane and flew to Melbourne. I made my way, after a few jobs in Melbourne, to Sydney and began working on the buses. This suited me down to a T, as I loved seeing places and meeting new people, plus I was getting paid for the privilege. One day I received a letter inviting me to a friend's wedding back home. I had now made a life in Australia, so I bought my return plane ticket and planned just a 6-week holiday break back home. I arrived back in Newtonards just a few days before the 12th of July in 1973. On the 12th morning, I went along to Grimsport to see the parade. After all the lodges had passed, I headed to the field. Just as I was following the crowds, I spied a familiar face smiling back at me. I was introduced to this young girl about 3 years earlier. We got talking and I plucked up the courage to ask her out on a date. Her name was Jeanette. We went out on a few dates and Jeanette ended up attending the wedding with me. My friends who were getting married were both Christians. The holiday was going in very quickly, and the 4 of us started to go out together. On quite a few dates we went to gospel meetings. My time was nearly up to go back to Australia, but I was still going out with Jeanette. I had met her family and she had met mine. I knew that my mum would try and get Jeanette to talk to me into staying. I found out years later that my mum was quite upset when I went to Australia the first time. But love conquers all. On the 13th of August 1973, I asked Jeanette to marry me. So Australia was kicked into touch. I came home to attend the wedding and ended up staying for my own. My plans were never the Lord's plans. We were still going out to gospel meetings, but the Lord had been working away in both of us. After an evening out, I had walked Jeanette to the bus station. As I was walking home that Sunday night, I asked Jesus into my life. There were no bells, no whistles, just inner peace. That was on the 23rd September 1973. I didn't see Jeanette until the Tuesday night to tell her my news, but Jeanette had her own story to tell. On the way home on the bus that same evening, she also asked Jesus into her heart. After Jeanette and I were both saved, we started attending services at Greenwell Street Presbyterian Church and later attended Rathmore House in Larne for our officers' training for the Boys Brigade. The Reverend T.R. Johnson married us on the 17th of August 1974 in Ballygranny Presbyterian Church, which was Jeanette's home church. We were blessed with our son James and our daughter Jacqueline. They both married, and now we have 4 grandchildren, 3 boys and 1 girl. While both of us working in Nards, we put our names down for a house. We were given the keys, and together with the road map and our passports, we headed towards Graba and the Hardbreed Ra. That was in late 1975. We joined Trinity and have been part of the church ever since. Sometimes the Lord takes us out of our comfort zone, but I know He has looked after me through all the difficult times in my life. Personally, I know in my heart, if I had went back to Australia, I would have been lost spiritually. All my work in life has been serving the public, from being a butcher, a bread salesman, bus driver, and a funeral director. I have met some wonderful people throughout the years and only wish now that I had put pen to paper. But I know the Lord has it all recorded. In Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 reads, "For it is grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God." And in Mark chapter 9, verse 23, God tells us, everything is possible for him who believes. Thank you for listening, and God bless.